What's happening, everyone? Welcome to my new channel, The Whiskey Shed. Now, I'm sure most of you guys have probably followed me over from my pre-existing channel, John McGrath Man in Shed. I'm essentially a woodworking electrician. And for anybody that's new here who doesn't know me, welcome along. Like I said, my name is John McGrath. My other channel is all about woodworking and all that stuff. That's why you can see the background that's behind me. We are essentially in my workshop or in my shed, and I've started this new channel called The Whiskey Shed because I wanted to share my experiences as I take a journey through the world of whiskey. Now, I'm relatively new to the whole whiskey thing. I've drank a nice bit of whiskey in my time, mostly to get inebriated and not so much to enjoy it. So I've tasted all the big brands. It's like the Jameson, the Paddy's, the Powers, the Jack Daniels, Jim Beam, stuff that you would recognize the world over. But recently, very recently in fact, I've gotten into some nicer whiskies, and I'm taking my time kind of sipping and doing all the rest of it and getting acquainted to all the different aspects of this world that is the whiskey world. So that's why the channel has started. I just wanted to share the experience. I'm certainly no expert when it comes to whiskey. I'm very much new to this whole scene, so it's a case of me giving my opinion on different whiskies and sharing the experience as I try many of these bottles, which will be for the first time. So let's jump in and have a look at the first bottle. Okay, let's jump in with the very first bottle that I'm going to give my opinion on this channel, and it's a bottle of RedBreast 12-year-old Irish whiskey. Now, why RedBreast? Well, everybody I spoke to, I said, I want to get into this whiskey thing. What's a bottle of whiskey that you recommend? And everybody came back to me with the same answer. Get yourself a bottle of 12-year-old RedBreast. So I said they can't all be wrong, so I picked one up. And this is literally the first bottle of RedBreast that I've ever bought and I've ever tasted. Now, I've had quite a sup of it because it is rather nice. It is a single pot still Irish whiskey, so it's made in the traditional fashion in a pot still, and I think that is kind of unique to Irish whiskey. They say that this is the best representation of Irish whiskey. The way that it's made from a mash of malted and unmalted barley. Now, quick little history lesson. Why the reason we use unmalted barley here in Ireland? Well, the British taxed malted barley, so the Irish lads kind of said, jog on lads, we'll use unmalted barley. So they used a mix of unmalted and malted barley in order to get the tax burden down, and they could still produce the whiskey. That's what gives it its unique flavour. That and the fact that it's aged in a couple of different type barrels. So they started off in American oak bourbon barrels, and then they finish it in Oloroso Spanish oak sherry butts, and that's what gives it its unique flavour. And you can get a hint of that sherry, I have to say. It's made in the Middleton distillery in Cork, and that's where a lot of Irish whiskies are made, Jameson being the biggest that's made there. And I have to say, it is quite a nice whiskey. So let's get it into the glass. Now, I realise this is not a Glencairn type glass, but this is the glass that I like to drink my whiskey out of. So I said, taste the whiskey from the glass you like to drink from. And these were given to me as a present. They are Waterford Crystal whiskey glasses. And me being a Waterford man, it's apt to drink your whiskey from a piece of Waterford Crystal. So without further ado, let's have a taste. So here goes. I'm about to give you my opinion as a whiskey novice of what I think of RedBreast 12-year-old. And straight away, the very first thing I got when I smelled this for the first time was Christmas cake. It just brought back that memory of my mother cooking Christmas cake and Christmas puddings, the dried fruit mixed with a little drop of Jameson whiskey, and I can get that straight away. You can smell a little bit of sweetness, some lovely dried fruits, some bacon spices, so you definitely get some cinnamon. That's exactly what I get from it. It just took me back to Christmas. It's like a wintertime by the fire with a Christmas cake on a plate. It's just a lovely smell, a little hint of oak. I do notice from some of the whiskies that I've tasted and smelled, you can definitely get a hint of that American oak. So when I'm cutting American oak in the workshop, now you can really smell a little hint of what's in the whiskey. I have some down there and you can really get that hint, but it's to the background. But definitely dried fruits, spice, just Christmas cake. There's even a little hint I find of almond icing, or marzipan as we call it. So on the palate, again, a little bit of fruit, definitely get those spices. I don't tend to get as strong a reaction on the palate as I do on the nose. I can definitely pick stuff out better on the nose than I can on the palate. I suppose that's all about developing your palate. But it's nice, it's smooth. It's not a very oily whiskey, it's a nice light whiskey. Again, you get all that spice. Definitely a Christmas cakey, kind of buttery biscuitiness to this Irish whiskey. That's very, very nice, and it tastes very Moorish. It's like a warm winter hug in a glass. I can just get the image of that wood stove crackling and the smell of the Christmas pudding. It is really, really nice. So I've just let it sit in the glass now for a few minutes to see how it changes. And it definitely brings all those spices to the forefront. I find the sweetness goes down a small bit, and all those bacon spices like cinnamon and nutmeg and even some almond is what I'm getting from it. Definitely the dried fruits are all more to the fore now. And on the palate, yeah, definitely a kind of a bready, maybe even nuttiness is what I'm getting now after leaving it sit for a few minutes with those spices. Again, Christmas cake, that's what just comes to mind, Christmas cake. And my mother baking Christmas cakes, I can smell it. It just takes you straight back there. It's amazing how smells just bring forward memories. Yeah, that's how I would sum up this 12-year-old Redbreast. It is Christmas time in a glass, winter by the fire, and having some Christmas pudding, mince pies, mulled wine, all that good stuff. It's just all there in the glass. At least that's what I'm getting from it anyway, and it is quite nice. So there we go, guys, my very first video on this new channel, The Whiskey Shed. Hopefully you've enjoyed that, and as the channel continues to grow and I grow my knowledge on whiskey, we can make better and better videos. It's a nice change of pace from my other channel where all the woodworking. It's a little bit easier to sit down and sip some nice whiskies and take your time and relax and give your opinion on them. So hopefully it's been helpful, hopefully you've enjoyed it, and maybe you might go and grab yourself a bottle of 12-year-old Redbreast and enjoy it. See what you guys get out of it. Let me know in the comments, what's your favorite whiskey? What do you guys recommend? Just like my woodworking channel, I've learned so much from the people who comment on my woodworking channel. So much great advice, so many great opinions on tools, techniques and all that kind of stuff. So I'm eager to learn on this channel as much as my other channel. So let me know in the comments, what's your favorite whiskey? What do you recommend? What do you think I should try? Remember, everything is going to be new to me moving forward, so I'm excited to share the journey with you guys and to give you my opinion and then hear your guys' opinion as well. What do you get from all these whiskies? So let me know in the comments, join in, and let's start a conversation and let's start this whiskey journey. So that's it, guys. Until the next whiskey, take it easy. Wait a minute, we can't end this video the same way as I do over on the woodworking channel. So we have some whiskey, we need to propose a toast. So let's propose a toast and finish off the very first video with a little drop of 12-year-old Redbreast. So, may the roofs above your heads never fall in and those beneath them never fall out. Sláinte. It is good indeed. So guys, my very first video is now done. Until the next bottle of whiskey, I shall see you then. Take it easy.